let me share my screen and
Yeah.
we'll show you this stuff. We like to keep things really simple because when things are simple, you can take action. The reason people don't take action is when things are complicated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Government, central banks, all the stuff you hear on the news about anything to do with finance, they never call a spade a spade. It's always complicated language, and you come away going, I don't know whether it's good, bad, and definitely don't know what to do with that information. So the application is the key. So look, let's put it this way. Let's take a measuring jug with water. I'm sure everyone can imagine that kind of situation. You've got a measuring jug, you've got water in. Imagine that as your bank account, okay? Your savings account. And what you're doing with your hard-earned money is you're putting your hard-earned money into this savings account, yeah? So you're adding water to the jug. Very, very simple. What the bank then does is they give you interest, okay? And interest rates have fluctuated. They've been going up recently, but it's never usually anything that interesting. It's not, you put money in a savings account and the interest, you're then living off the interest. It's crumbs on the table. Even as they're going up, it's still never that great, that impactful.
Yeah.
And what that does as a perception is you think that the amount or the value in your bank account is increasing. And we have to be very careful with our words here. So the numbers in your bank account are going up. So they might go from 10 to 11 to 12, and you can add as many zeros or on the end of that as you want. But the numbers are going up. But that doesn't mean to say that the value is going up. And this is what we're not taught in school. 14,000 hours of compulsory education, and you're not taught about money, okay? So the perception is that the numbers are going up, and therefore, why would you not think that the value is going up? When actually, the true value is down here. And the reason for that is you have a leak, and that leak is called inflation. And these are the two I's, interest and inflation. As you see, the inflation arrow is thicker than the interest arrow. There is more leaving than interest going in. So although the numbers may be going up, the value is actually going down over time. Think of it like this. No one ever saved their way to become wealthy. You know, you never hear these people that have made it financially, and they say, what you need to do is you put your hard-earned money in a savings account, in a bank account, and just let the interest pile up, and that's how you do it. It never happens like that. And the reason is the system's broke, and you're actually losing money over time. So think of it like this. When you've got paper money in a savings account, your hard-earned money that you work your backside for, you trade your time for this money, interest helps you and inflation hurts you. We can't put it any more simple than that. And I'm sure you'll never hear that on the news, and you'll never hear politicians saying it like that. But interest helps you, inflation hurts you. Because inflation is devaluing the paper money. It has nothing to do with the number that you see. It's the value that's attached to it. So when we actually did a video around January 2021, when the government announced that they were giving all this money out and they were, printing all this money more than they'd ever we'd ever seen before. And we said, this has to cause inflation. You can't flood the system. You can't make such a big hole in the jug without it having an impact. It just can't happen like that. And the government said, yeah, it's not going to cause inflation. And then they kick the can down the road and they say, well, it might do, but, we'll be okay. Then they say it's transitory. Again, never calling a spade a spade. They say it's going to come, but it won't last long. And now you get the truth. It's here. It's worse than they thought, and it's going to last longer than they thought. And if you waited till this moment, it's kind of too late to position yourself. So understanding this stuff is all about positioning yourself so that you can do something about inflation. You can't control inflation, but you can protect yourself from it.
Brother said something now, Adam, too. Anybody watching this, please share it with your families and your kids. Please teach your kids this. The sooner you know this, the better, because we were talking about this earlier. If we understood this when we were kids, if we were taught this, like the ABCs, if we knew this, if it was in our default setting, if we just automatically knew this, imagine where we'd be now. I used to get excited in the sergeant's mess about my my wage rise, and 1%, 2%, or whatever. And people used to talk about inflation or mention it, but we never really factored it in. We just thought, great, we got a pay rise. But actually, every single time almost, the inflation rate was far higher than the wage rise we were getting, far higher. So we're losing out every time. If your rise in wages isn't increasing over and above the true inflation rate, then you're losing. And I don't even think this system that we use is broken. It's been set up this way deliberately. It doesn't work for us, normal people, but it works for the people at the top who understand it, who actually set this up in the first place. But please share this with everybody, anybody you can, and let's get our kids understanding this right, as soon as we possibly can.
Yes, and I think that's the true thing, isn't it? So if you've got paper money, this is how it works. Interest helps you, inflation hurts you. Interestingly, if you flip it round and you've got debt, the opposite is actually true. So interest hurts you and inflation helps you. Which, again, we're never taught this stuff. We're never taught the concepts and then how to apply them. If you've got a mortgage and the interest rate goes up by 1%, let's say you've got a £200,000 mortgage and the interest rate goes up by 1%, that's costing you a lot. Interest is hurting you.
And if it's a variable rate, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's variable, then you're going to feel the impact of that. If you've got 10 grand in a savings account and you get a 1% increase in the interest rate, then yes, it's helping you, but look at your whole personal economy. 1% on 200,000 or 1% on 10,000, the interest on the mortgage is going to hurt you way more than the interest on the savings is going to help you, if that makes sense. So you've got to look at the big picture and how these two things apply. Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people don't understand, obviously, the balancing out effect of what that does to your finances. Obviously, I have a mortgage still. Luckily, at the moment, it's on a fixed rate, so I've got another year till I get hit with a number. But yeah, a lot of people don't kind of understand, especially the issue about your wage rise. If your wage rise is up with the cost of living increases, then you're not getting a wage rise, and it's all the terminology, all the language is there to absolutely 100% confuse you and to keep you in the dark about what's happening.
Yeah, deliberately.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. But
all the politicians' wage rises. Did you check out what their wage rises compared to the rest of us?
Yeah,
exactly.
Completely different.
Yeah, they're looking after themselves. And this is what we want to do, is say, look, you have to look after yourself. And the way you do that is by empowering yourself and then doing something about it.
Calling all US citizens. Check out the link in the description to get your free Goalbusters ebook.